Xpresso on the Voice of the Cape.
A warm welcome if you have just joined us. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thinking is a great thing to do. Why would you want to be thinking? We all think all the time. But we are going to be talking about thinking in a whole different genre today. Now, Alison du Toit, I just wanted to be rah to say it like that. Alison du Toit is an organizational psychologist. Good morning to you, madam.
Good morning to you. It's
How are
lovely
you?
to be here. Good.
I think you should just move a little bit that way so you can be in the mic. There we go. So the listeners can hear your lovely voice. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. Thank you to my producer and to Zulfa for setting all of this up. Now, let's find out who you are first of all.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
A big shot we have in the studio. We know that.
Do you want to know all like the professional stuff, or do you want to know the
mischief stuff? That
mischief
too.
stuff. Well,
Okay.
I'm first and foremost a wife and a mom and
cool.
a friend and a sister and
All
all
right.
those wonderful things that I
Yeah.
can be as a woman. But I'm an organizational psychologist that has probably about 20 years experience, some in corporate and some consulting.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of work with individuals and teams and organizations just to make them better,
Okay.
unlock their potential and allow
Make
just
them think.
make them think, but also make them have a life that's wonderful to live, so that it's not just feels heavy and sort of dull.
What brought on the thinking thing? Shall we call it that?
The thinking thing?
Yeah.
Well, there's a wonderful lady by the name of Nancy Kline, and she's written a book called Time to Think.
Okay.
And she was here many years ago doing a masterclass. And through Symphonia, which is one of my affiliate organizations, I attended her masterclass and was absolutely hooked. So that's where it started. Just a real sense of this work resonates with me, and I think I can make a contribution.
All right. So let's just look at it this way. You're asking people to think. We do that all the time. How is this different?
That's a great question. So we do think all the time, and of course we have a ability to think, but it's
Loads to think of.
and we've got lots to think of. The world is really chaotic, but it's the way we think. So we think we've been schooled or we've been taught how to think in a way that we call exchange thinking.
Okay.
And exchange thinking is, you look at any classroom, a teacher asks a question and the students quickly put up their hand. They want to give an answer. And the answer is always about, look,
Yeah.
I'm right. I've got the answer. But we don't create thinking where we say, why have we come to that answer? Or what is the full range of your thinking? And we haven't developed that capacity to be in a place where thinking is really taken to the edge of what we are able to think about for ourselves. Not what our mom has told us or our teachers told us or our imams told us or our pastors told us, but it's those things that we think about and we think fully on our own to say, this is what Alison thinks about this issue.
Of course. And this is what Sulayla thinks.
And this is what Sulayla thinks. And do I really know what I think about an issue? So, I'm very interested in, I've got some older boys who started to vote. And the question I had is, when you get to the age of voting, do you know why you're voting for a certain party? Or is it just because that's what your parents
Do
did?
you know why you need to vote?
Exactly. Have you thought that through? And I think as human beings, we are so rushed and we're so focused on doing that we don't create the time to stand back and think. Yeah.
Not everyday thinking, but something that you're pondering about, something that is laying heavily on your mind. Where and when would be the best times to really sit and think about that?
Well, when you say sit and think about that, I think that's the second thing that I want to talk about around why thinking is, why we need to help people to think better, is we get in our own way. And when I say we get in our own way, some of us, meditate, we may pray, we may go for a walk, and we think in our minds. We ponder a big decision, we may be sitting with a dilemma, or maybe it's just a shopping list, right? And we go.
That can also be a dilemma, by the way.
No, especially if there's no money in the purse.
Indeed.
Right? So we go internally, and we have a lot of limiting assumptions that get in our way. Voices that tell us you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or this is the right way to do things. And so what is important is to have a space or an environment for you to be able to think effectively and independently, but in the presence of wonderful attention.
Indeed.
And so the most often it's not the best time to think when you're on your own,
Okay.
when you don't have somebody giving you great attention, and when you're not in a space to be able to really explore the full extent of your independent thinking.
Okay.
So no perfect time, no perfect place, but it is about an environment, and there's certain components that are critical. But it's about people too. It's about people being around you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. Now I'm asking you a question. I'm sorry, I'm taking over here. Is that
Poor
okay?
Poor me. Okay.
Think about a time when you had a wonderful conversation with somebody that really mattered and that you felt heard.
Like now?
Like now, or with a family member
Yeah.
or with a friend.
Yeah.
What was it that you experienced in them that felt good?
It felt good that I'm being heard.
They were giving you attention, right?
Yes.
So that's really it, is that when we get given attention and real attention, in other words, I'm looking at you and I'm curious about what you want to say and I'm not judging you and I value that you're different from me, all of a sudden that unlocks your thinking. Because from a brain perspective or a neuroscience perspective, my neocortex, this front part of my brain, feels, wow, I have a space. Whereas if I feel judged or criticized, or you frown at me, or you already start trying to interrupt me, my limbic system, which is the back part of my brain that is around self-preservation, that kicks in and that wants me to say, oh, I need to be careful here. This person's not really safe.
Okay.
And so I can't think best.
All right. So I'm stunted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll go from being stunted right now
Okay.
because we need to pay some bills.
Absolutely.
We'll come back to you right after.
Good.
Morning Xpresso on the Voice of the Cape.
Well, like the man says, Morning Xpresso on the Voice of the Cape. I'm your host, Sulayla. This is a time to think. That's what this part of the show is called. Alison du Toit is in studios. She's an organizational psychologist. In other words, she'll sit you down and organize your thinking. And no, I'm just kidding.
Or feeling.
All right, all of that too. So the message that we're getting from you today, that there is good in thinking, whether it's a shopping list or a major decision. But we think and we do all the time. So your message to us here today, what is that?
The message today is that everybody has the capacity to engage with full independent thinking, delicious thinking that is new and that is energizing, and that the quality of our thinking is directly linked to the quality of relationships and listening that we have with people.
Okay.
So we need to be able to connect effectively with those around us, and we need to learn how to do that, because sometimes we've lost that ability to be human beings. We are more focused on human doing stuff, and work, and rush, and we need to create the space to be able to really connect with that thinking, because life is difficult, the world is changing, and we need innovation, we need creativity, and we need people to be fully themselves.
Talking about innovation, you have a workshop where you got a whole list of things that you're doing there, all kinds of stuff that will be happening there. Why should I attend?
Well, I think the workshop is a space to really understand what it means to create a thinking environment. You know, there are many components to that environment. There are 10. And I've spoken about having attention and really being at ease and encouraging. But it is a space to explore these concepts and practice. And really feel what it feels like to think what you need to think without being interrupted.
All right. Can I just ask on that quickly? In order for me to be able to think properly, do I also then have to listen properly and pay attention to someone?
Well, exactly. So one of the components of the thinking environment is about equality. And so when we think together, your thinking is no more important than mine. The time that you have to think and listen is no more important than mine. So we need equality. And so what we teach is a structure called thinking pairs, where you will have an opportunity to think about what you need to think about. I will listen, giving you full attention, absorbed in what it is that you have to say, and then you will have a turn to do the same.
Okay.
So absolutely, we've got to learn both. We've got to learn how to listen as well as how to think.
All right. I like the thinking and listening, because those two should go hand in hand. In order for me to better understand you and for you to give an idea of what is going on up in my brains, we need to do that. So now, the workshop that you have, and what would it benefit me and you to go there? Okay, you have to be there, but how will I benefit?
Well, I think you will benefit in the sense that as an individual, you'll start seeing what the very easy, practical things are to create a space for thinking, with your children at home, with your family, with your friends. When we're a bunch of girlfriends that get together over the weekend, we can interrupt each other and we can talk and giggle and laugh. Do we really hear one another? Do I really listen effectively to allow that friend who's sitting opposite me that's having a difficult time to feel heard? And I think the benefit for you is to get some real practical skills around how to start doing that, so that you can be a better individual in your home life, in your community, as well as in your workspace. This is a life skill. This is not just a corporate thing that is going to help our team be more effective. Yeah.
So basically, it starts with you in order for you to live better and communicate better. But can we just go rewind a bit when you talked about the children? Because my son wrote on his Facebook page, he said that we are so happy when the child starts communicating with you and starts talking and jumping up and down, and after a while you're telling the child, shut up, sit down. What happens to the child's sense of self-esteem even, or their way of thinking?
Spot on. I think there are two things. I want to start off by telling you a little story about a lady on my workshop, and she was saying she came home from work one day and was starting supper, but she was answering emails on her phone, and her daughter was saying, Mom, I want to tell you about my day. And her mom said, yes, tell me, but she was busy, and she said, Mom, but I need you to listen to me. She said, yes, my darling, I'm listening, tell me. But stirring the pot and looking at the phone, and after a couple of minutes of her saying, Mom, I need you to listen, Mom got quite upset and said, listen, I am listening. What is it that you need to say? And she turned to her mom and she said, Mom, you listen with your eyes, not just with your ears.
How true is that, eh?
And kids need that. Kids need attention. They need to know that you really are interested in what they have to say.
Indeed.
And that starts with those why questions. I know that when my children were around about 3 or 4, everything's why, Mom, why?
Oh, my God.
And we get tired, right? Eventually we just say, because I said so.
Yeah.
It's so important.
That's the worst answer you can give,
Absolutely.
By the way.
It shuts down their thinking just like that. They are curious, and we need to really encourage that curiosity and take time to sit with them. Our lives are too busy.
Indeed. So when the child is wanting to tell you all of the little things are the big things.
Absolutely. And it's about just giving them, and you can time it. The thinking environment says, let's time our space together. You can say, you know what, my boy or my girl, we're going to take 5 minutes each way. You're going to tell me what you want to tell me for the day, and then Mom's going to tell you about her day.
Okay.
And we time it. And that's dedicated, beautiful attention that we give one another. And that child will fundamentally see that quality time as an absolute gift.
Indeed. So I love what you said earlier about what the little girl said. You listen with your eyes. So, because when I'm looking at you, I'm taking you in.
Correct.
As you and I are sitting across from each other right now, if I'm busy with the technical person on the other side, it sort of makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Well, yes, if you break eye contact and look distracted, and like we all do, pick up your cell phone and start texting, immediately I think, oh, what I've got to say is not important. Or I'm not interesting. And then I try and think about things that are going to get my attention, because we live in a world of, I've got a colleague that calls it, we want smarties. It's like we want to be able to be valued and appreciated and recognized.
Okay.
And if I give you the answer you want to hear, or the answer that I think that makes me look good, then all of a sudden I feel better because there's almost like a smartie that I've received. And that might might not be what I really think or what I really needed to say, but
I got your attention.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that to me is what is important.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, communication is key. How to communicate is another story, and how not to communicate is also something else. You and I can sit here till next year, I think, and we'll still not be done.
Exactly, because you're such an interested listener, which is wonderful.
Oh, they're so cool. Now, tell me something. If people would like to be a part of this workshop, how do they go about it, and what do I need to be a part of it?
Well, we have two kinds of workshops. We have what we call public workshops, so anybody can attend, and you can go onto our website, www.symphonia.net. Was that the right? Yeah, that's the right website. I had a bit of a blonde moment there. My thinking was stunted because I got a bit of anxiety.
Yeah, and the strange thing is, listeners, she really is blonde. But as you can hear, she's not a Dumbo at all. Okay,
well,
she's extremely intelligent. She's a psychologist. I mean, seriously.
Exactly.
Listen, just tell people that's just my hair color.
It's just my hair color, right? There we go. And it's not long and flowing, and I don't have gorgeous lips and all of that.
Oh, she does too. Don't listen to her. Okay, get back to the workshop.
The workshop, Symphonia.net. Okay, there is an email.
Sorry. Why Symphonia?
Symphonia is the organization that runs these workshops.
Okay.
So Symphonia is a leadership development consultancy here in Cape Town, but we work across the whole of South Africa.
Okay. Well, that's quite a mouthful, so Symphonia it is then.
Symphonia. Symphonia is Symphonia.
Yeah.
Hearing of all the voices.
It's like a symphony in action. So let's hear what action you'll be doing.
So you can go onto the website and have a look at the dates for the public programs. If you want to email somebody, you can email Jolene at symphonia.net, and her email address will be on the website. But if you want to have an in-house program, so some organizations want to say, let's say, a bank or a retail company or yourselves, you want to say, let's run it for our team where we go through it together as a team. You're welcome to contact us as well, and that would be Kim, K-Y-M, at symphonia.net, and she'll be able to agree to how we can do that for you.
All right. Just on that quickly, we're talking about a company, what people think and how they feel, and as we said earlier, communication is a great thing to have in symphony in a company, right? Any company or organization for that matter.
Absolutely. Remember that what do we all want as an organization? We want quality results.
Absolutely.
We want success.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of research that says the quality of our results is directly linked to the quality of collective thinking we do together.
How cool is that?
The quality of collective thinking is directly linked to the quality of our relationships, which is linked to how we listen and give one another attention.
All right.
So, I mean, this is a perfect conduit to be able to say, how do we create the space to hear one another, be creative, focus on our results so that we can be successful?
Absolutely. And where and when?
Well, we have public programs that are available. I think this year we have no more dates scheduled, so it's coming towards the end of the year and things are crazy. But for 2016, we have a schedule on the website. It also depends on demand, so we can very quickly create workshops. If you have a whole bunch of people that are interested, I just need a day and I'm there.
Don't need much, do you?
No, I'm easy.
All right. I loved having you here today.
I loved being here.
Yeah, you've made me think of things in a whole different way. I must just tell you that people will say, but I know how to think. How is she going to teach me? Don't worry. Having listened now, there's a whole new way of looking at thinking. So let's empower ourselves.
Absolutely, and realize that it might seem like a silly, simple thing that we all can do, but if we were doing it right, wouldn't the world look different?
Oh, absolutely.
We're doing something wrong.
No, we're thinking wrong.
Exactly.
Let me just ask you. You've given the website all of those details, but for somebody who might not have access to the internet, is there perhaps a number they can call?
Absolutely. You can call our offices on 021. I just want to make sure that I have the right number here. 021 rather call our cell number 082-453-9393, or you can call me, Alison, on 082-859-1193.
Shall it be Alison du Toit or Alison du Toit?
I quite like the du Toit. It sounds fancy.
All right, Miss du Toit, so it shall be. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And so were we thinking in the box or outside of the box?
We were thinking outside of the box. And do we have 1 minute?
Sure, go for it.
So the thinking environment talks about appreciation. So I'd like to end off. Our ratio of appreciation to criticism that we need as human beings to think effectively is 5 to 1. 5 appreciations to 1 criticism. So I'd like to appreciate you.
Okay.
And I'd like to say that the quality in you that I really appreciate is your absolute exuberant facial expressions.
How cool is that, woman?
You have such a face that says I'm interested and I'm lovely energy. So I really just wanted to appreciate that.
Well, I have to then reciprocate.
You do.
Say yes.
Yes, give me an appreciation.
You are a stunning woman.
Thank you.
With an absolutely beautiful aura.
Oh,
yeah, and you make me want to chat to you even more.
We'll come on one of our workshops.
Yeah, but we're going to be in trouble. We have to end.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, my dear, for being here.
you,
Have a
Sulayla.
stunning day, Father.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.